Hey, hey, welcome back to the Weight Loss Decoded Podcast, GLP edition. I am your host, Sharon Polsky, the GLP Fact Fairy. And on today's episode, we are going to have a conversation with my amazing client, Jacqueline. And she got a little stuck in her weight loss journey and decided to start using a GLP. And I want you guys to hear directly from the horse's mouth, so to speak, what it's like to take a GLP, why people make these decisions. So I'm super excited to welcome Jacqueline to the podcast. And again, if you like today's episode, please subscribe so you don't miss out on any future episodes. So I am super excited to welcome Jacqueline to the show. Jacqueline, tell us a little bit about yourself, what you do for a living, what your life, just your personal lifestyle every day is like.
Okay. Hi, Sharon. So my name is Jacqueline. As Sharon said, I'm 41 years old. I live in Long Beach, California. I'm a lawyer, married, no kids, 2 cats.
I was just going to say, but you have kitties, which might as well be kids.
My 2 kitty babies. And yeah, that's a general. I'm originally from the East Coast, so I travel back there to see my family a lot. And yeah.
Awesome. And I know we've talked about this in the past. I think it's really important for us to normalize conversations about weight, because the more we talk about it, the less shame people are going to feel about it. And so tell us a little bit about your weight loss journey. Have you been heavy your whole life? When did it start? What do you think caused it? And we'll go from there.
Sure. Okay. So, I have always as a child, I was athletic and I was always involved in sports, but I always skewed towards a little bit overweight, comes, I believe, genetics. My dad and everyone in on that side of the family is overweight. My mom, on the other hand, was really good about eating healthfully and exercising and working out. So I feel like growing up, I was always on the cusp of just borderline being overweight, but playing sports and having my mom home cooking was great. So fast forward, I played sports through high school. I go to college and all bets are off. You're up to your own devices. You're eating everything in the food court. And
well, that's why they call it the freshman 15.
That's right. And I sure put that on. And I think that's when kind of my yo-yoing started from that point forward. And I was always, the woman who was probably a size 12 to 14. And then if I lost weight, I'd be a size 10 and feel great about myself.
But you were never a size 2, even as a child, you remember that?
No. In high school, I was a size 10 and I felt amazing because I was working out and I was in shape. And, I was never like a thin person. Always, I'm a shapely woman, so
for sure.
Yeah. So, but yeah, my struggles with weight as an adult became the kind of typical story that you hear of stress eating. I went to law school. I'm in a new environment. So I'm eating because I'm stressed. I'm eating fast food because I don't have time to cook, that kind of thing. And then slowly over the years, it creeps up. So the old fluctuating 20 pounds becomes 40 pounds. And I've gained and lost 30 to 40 pounds several times in my life. And then I met my husband and we were dating and, you get comfortable and then you put on weight there. And I got up to an all-time high. And I would never discuss.
What was your all-time high?
Yeah, I was going to mention that. My all-time high was 260 pounds. And that's when I met you, Sharon, and I was losing weight for my wedding. And I lost about 40 pounds at that point. And I felt great. I thought, okay, I would love to get under 200 pounds again, but if I'm like 225, that's fine. But COVID hit. And again, I'm a stress eater. I'm a nervous eater. I was bored. I was doing nothing.
Yeah.
And so it just all culminated in my new high that I reached I want to say in 2023 or late 2022 is probably when I noticed you stopped weighing yourself. Oh, I wonder why your clothes aren't fitting you. And I finally got the nerve and thought, okay, I'm going to weigh myself. And I was 297 pounds. And that was when I thought, okay, this is dire. This is not about looks like it used to be. This is about my health. I was turning 40 and I started to get really scared. And I just thought, like, what do I do? This now seems impossible. Oh, what used to be 20 to 30 pounds to lose is now about 100 pounds to lose. And I just don't know what to do.
And what I think is interesting about this story is it didn't happen during COVID. It started in college. This
That's
has
right.
all been layering since
Yes,
you were 19 years old. So,
that's right.
a lot of our listeners are like, well, I want to lose weight in 2 weeks, or I want to lose weight in 6 weeks, or I want to lose weight. But you've been gaining weight since you were 19. If you're really going to be honest with
Hmm.
yourself, and that's what these conversations are about, you
Hmm.
started gaining weight when you were 19.
That's right. That's right. And you never, I mean, I think, when I was in law school and after a while I had started like working out regularly, I got back down to about 180 pounds, but that was short lived. So yeah, you're right. It's that as an adult, you just keep gaining, or I just kept gaining,
Yeah.
and you never fully lose it.
Yeah, and I think that that's really the constant narrative for 99% of my weight loss clients, regardless if they're taking a
Hmm.
GLP-1 or not,
Yeah.
is this started a very long time ago, and now I don't know what to do because what
Yes.
used to work no longer works. And it's
Right.
because your metabolism changes it because
Mhm.
you can't keep tricking your body. It's almost like your dog. Like you keep punishing your dog for something and then they do something wrong and they know the punishment is coming. Your
Right.
body actually starts
Right.
acting like we can't keep tricking the dog. We can't keep tricking. Like when you pretend to throw the ball and the dog
Yeah.
sits there and stares at you, like,
There's no
I know you're just
reaction.
pretending.
Yeah.
Like your body is like, you can't keep tricking me like this. So
Yep.
that
Yep.
I think your story is one that a lot of people feel.
Yeah.
I'm really excited that you're sharing it because a lot of people feel so much shame about being almost 300 pounds, especially talking to somebody that looks like me. And I
Yeah.
love the fact that you have the confidence enough to talk about that.
And that's what I've been like. Okay, so before I started on the GLP-1 journey, I was like, okay, let me see a doctor, get blood work done, and just try to like do a little bit by myself. And I did lose 15 pounds on my own. But it starts to feel like an insurmountable goal. And then on the other hand, I started to think I need to, because you have people in your life that, we're in a culture of accepting now. It's different, and that's beautiful. But at the same time,
But it's not healthy.
you have a bunch of friends saying, "Well, you look good. Oh, you're beautiful." And it's like, "Well, I might be beautiful, but I'm fat." And it's okay. Those two are not mutually exclusive, you
Correct.
know?
And you're brilliant. I know you personally, so I know that you are absolutely brilliant. So when we're not, if somebody were to say, I talk about fat shaming all the
Hmm.
time,
Hmm.
just pointing out that you have weight to lose is not fat shaming you.
No.
Saying you're ugly or you're unintelligent because you're overweight is fat
Right.
shaming.
Yeah, that's a
So
really good
we've got to
distinction.
stop saying like,
Yeah.
don't
Yeah.
fat shame me because I pointed it out. And you've always been somebody who's very honest about
Yeah,
yourself.
yeah. And so yeah, my back to my point is when I, got to that all-time high of 297 pounds, I thought I'm going to start telling people because there's so much shame surrounding saying the number. But I
Yeah.
think when you say the number, one, people who can't relate are like, oh wow, I really don't have room to comment because this is serious. People who can relate are like, oh, okay. Hey, I'm there. And if she can do it, I can do it. So I've been really open lately with just telling people my current weight, my high weight, goal weights. I'm like, I want to remove the shame about saying what your weight is.
Yeah, you were really great. You came in and did your Evolt scan the other day, which,
Yeah.
by the way, one of the best Evolt scans I've seen of any GLP-1 client. Like I was
Oh,
so blown away by it. Your
cool.
muscle mass, you had a muscle surplus, your visceral body fat was coming. I was blown away by it. But
Cool.
even in front of those ladies, as you were doing your scan, you were very honest and open
Yes.
in front of them. And
Hmm.
when you left, multiple clients said, I want to learn to be like that. We
Oh, cool.
inspire, it is cool, right? We
Yeah.
inspire so many people by telling people our journeys. Like I tell
Hmm.
people my menopause journey all the time. I also
Yeah.
tell people my mom's weight loss journey, which was ended in tragedy, actually.
Right. Right.
Dementia caused from,
Yeah.
now we really truly believe blood sugar issues cause
Gut,
dementia. So
gut health, stuff like that, right?
yeah.
Yeah. Hmm.
So I'm really honest about my journey. I talk about my mom's journey a lot. And I appreciate the fact you were so open and honest the other day because you
Thanks.
inspired a lot of ladies the other day in the
Good.
video. So what has your total weight loss been?
So let's see. Well, guess what? I reached 239 the other day after I saw you. So I'm in the 230s, but my high weight of 297 will do the math. That's 58 pounds.
58 pounds. I mean, that's pretty remarkable. I know you lost, like you said, you lost 15 pounds before.
So it's, so it's 43-ish.
Yeah, but I want the whole total.
So I started in March. I remember I had the conversation with you early this year. Oh, I was finally ready to take the step because I was afraid.
Yeah.
And I didn't know, I've known you for years. People don't know that, but Sharon and I know each other. And I didn't know the extent that you were working with the GLP-1s. And when we started talking about it, and I'm like, okay, this is something I want to do. And, it took me, I think, like a month to 6 weeks after we initially talked about it to actually pull the trigger. And then once I did, oh gosh, I've never been happier.
So tell us what makes you happy about it.
Okay. The first thing I noticed the first week on the smallest dose is that the mind connection is not there with I would be thinking about what I'm going to eat before I even finish lunch, for dinner. Or say you're a little bit hungry for dinner and I'm in the car. It's like, okay, well, I can't wait. I need food right now. Something as simple as ordering dinner with my husband. And if there was leftovers, if I didn't get my equal share, I'd be like, you ate the leftovers. It's like, that's like not a fun way to live where you're counting on food. You're, kind of like placing more value on food than people in your life at times. Like, especially the fights I would have with Connor about leftovers. I'd be like, you ate that. And I'm like, after I'm on a GLP-1, like he would say, I left stuff in the fridge for you. I'm like, oh my gosh, I like shocked this man because he thinks he can't eat food in the fridge. And now I'm like, I don't even care. Still now it's been how long? 6, 7 months? No.
Yeah.
It's been almost, 7 months. He'll still like default to our old patterns of like, we have some leftovers. Are you sure it's okay if I eat them? And I have to remind him, like, I'm not the same as I used to be, which is like so weird that I was so tethered to having
What's
food
mine?
as
Mine.
mine. And I need this. And it's like,
and I think that's twofold. I think that's the food noise. And I think it's anxiety. So when I started taking tirzepatide, I didn't even know I was anxious about things, not just food. I was anxious about food and I didn't like to share, but I was anxious about traffic. I was anxious about time. I didn't realize I hate being late. I've been obsessed with time since I was a child. My obsession with time and traffic went away. And I'm not somebody who I would never say I suffer from anxiety, but I noticed the minute I started taking tirzepatide, the 3 things that I then realized I was anxious about were food, time, and traffic. All 3 have vastly diminished. Like they're down to maybe like 1% of the time I have anxiety about those things.
I'm sleeping so much better since I started. And I think that's directly related to like anxiety. So whatever the effects on the brain that these medications have is like so positive in terms of a lot of anxious behavior and thoughts.
Even if you don't lose the weight, like even for those clients that aren't losing weight, they have all these other benefits, which is amazing.
Yeah. Like, for example, and I know a lot of people have experienced this, and I was never a huge drinker, but I really enjoyed socially drinking.
Yes.
I have no desire to drink anymore. It's just like, I went to dinner with some friends and ordered a drink and had a couple sips and was like, this doesn't really, I don't want this. So it's even just like across the board, just like feeling a little bit more settled and not tethered to food and substances and anxious feelings and things like that.
Yeah, it's mind blowing. And you are probably one of hundreds of patients of mine that have all said the same thing. And I love that conversation because yes, it's about weight loss. For me, GLP-1s, about 10% of it is about weight loss. The other 90%, I have a client that broke her back. She had this she was not large. She had terrible neurological pain. I had her go to one of my doctors. They gave her a GLP-1 off-label for neurological pain. She has never slept better. She has no anxiety, and all of her neurological pain went away within weeks, not months, weeks. And so,
it's amazing. Yeah. I have a friend who recently started it, and I don't know about his medical providers, but to help quit smoking.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's mind-blowing. And that's why I want to normalize these conversations about GLP-1s, because there's so much misinformation out there about how they're dangerous or how they're bad for you or how there's not enough of the people talking about like, I have a friend, and because we're so afraid to tell people we're using them because of the shame around it, then the shame around using the GLP-1 is also out there. So nobody's talking about it. And then now you're so open and honest about it, you don't care. And you've got a friend that's like, oh, by the way, I am too. And then you all start talking.
I didn't tell you, I was telling one of my brothers, he's just like me. Food is a reward system. Food is stress. Food is everything, right? And he's only 30, but he's noticing now he's bigger than he's ever been. He's got a really stressful job. And I said, hey, I'm on it. You should consider it. So this is months ago. I told that to him. In the meantime, my cousin comes out to visit, and we're just updating each other from the car ride to the airport. And I told her, like, so I'll tell you what's up with me. I'm on a GLP-1. And she's like, oh my gosh, I was just about to tell you that I'm on one, and I thought you were a safe person to tell because you don't judge. And so now the three of us in our family, all on my dad's side of the family with the weight problems, we have now a fourth in the cousin group we're all on them and we're all thriving. And the biggest thing we all say is that the mental connection is gone. So we can just concentrate on making healthy choices.
What were your worst side effects?
Nausea. And so what's funny is I've always been a very nauseated person. I have a weak stomach. I've been known to throw up at the drop of a hat. I smell like a hard-boiled egg, which I don't like. Y'all gag. So nausea, and a little bit of vomiting here and there, but nothing.
And that was early on?
Yeah, that's early on when I increased 0.25 and 0.5 were fine. When you do the little bit of the increase is when I would feel it, and then fine.
It passes relatively quickly.
Yeah. Maybe a little bit of constipation, but again, that's been a theme in my life. So you just make sure your fiber and water intake is there. So
do you feel like the side effects were worth the reward?
For sure, 100%. I know someone who's like, I can't take the nausea. And I'm like, I'll take the nausea any day of my life to have this mental clarity and to be able to just I know what's a normal person, but I feel like I'm living life like a normal person who's not obsessed with food.
Yeah, I felt that when I started taking tirzepatide, nobody would prescribe it to me. And finally, one of the doctors prescribed it to me off label. They were like, you don't need it for weight loss. I'm like, I don't want it for weight loss. I want it for all these other benefits.
Right.
And then I did gain about 8 pounds in weeks because of menopause. And then my hormone replacement doctor was like, yes, I'll prescribe you one. I don't know why nobody else would. But so he finally prescribed me it. But that was the thing that I noticed too, I didn't feel nauseous, but I felt overly full. I ate a massive meal and it was sitting up top. And I could see how some people think that's nauseous. For me, I'm not a nauseous person. So I didn't really relate it to nausea. But the mental clarity I got from being on them, I was like, I'll take that feeling all day long.
That's right.
I can feel like this 99% of the time.
That's right. And the thing I found that helped tremendously is I just drink a lot of water, and that made the nausea go away. So
eat an apple. I noticed eat an apple and drink a ton of water and I feel great.
A ton of water. Yep.
Yeah. And that's the theme that I think most people will tell you is yes, there's a little bit of side effect, but it's well worth it for all of these other benefits.
That's exactly how I feel.
If you could give our listeners a word of advice about GLP-1s, what would it be?
Don't listen to research on the internet. Don't read people's horror stories. Talk to a professional, because I think a lot of us fall victim to hearing anecdotal stories. I had a horrible experience with this. Get the information from a professional, because a lot of times it will then ease any of the fears like it did with me. And I feel like, I would have maybe done this earlier had I not been so afraid and, been reading clickbait articles and things like that. So talk to a professional, see if it's right for you. I actually have a really great primary care physician now who is on board with this, and she's so compassionate. And it's the first time in my life that I felt like an MD has been on board.
Yeah, they're not shaming you and telling you to work out and eat less. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. So do your research and find professionals that know what they're talking about. And
I want to point out, you're on semaglutide. You're not on tirzepatide. And so we do see more side effects on semaglutide than tirzepatide. And you've really had very little side effects, but
very little.
You had a massive benefit on the other side.
Yep.
Well, Jack, I want to thank you for coming and having a conversation with me. I really appreciate it. And
thanks for having me. Yes, you too, Sharon.
want to thank you for tuning in to the Weight Loss Decoded GLP Edition podcast. My name is Sharon Polsky, your GLP Fact Fairy. And if you liked today's episode, if you could please subscribe, like, and share with your friends, that would be great. I also want to remind you that these are just the opinions of myself and my guests and should not be interpreted as medical advice. Until next time, ciao for now.